Awesome.
Awesome.
Taiho, he's gonna join it. Yeah, so like usually like a student, like a back and forth, they join, they left and stuff. So we can set it to do it. So thanks for your time today, Hannie. You are CEO and co-founder of SHOWHUE, and that's a smart visual tool for the e-commerce owner. We can just like dive into the question that I share with you today. Again, very excited to hear your background and then how you started to work on the your startups idea. So can you please introduce yourself and what you're working on and what's the show to
Yeah,
everyone?
sure. Hi guys, thanks for having me up here. And I'm Hannie, the founder and CEO at SHOWHUE. So SHOWHUE is an online tool that helps the merchants to create high converting product images automatically. So the users just upload one picture and we will use our AI powered algorithm to make them better than the original one. So actually we are a small team based in Taiwan right now. And most of our team members are engineers, including me. So yeah, and we focus on the computer vision instead of the data analysis right now. Yeah.
And then how did you get involved in the world of startup after you got a master degree for the computer science and the computer vision?
Yeah, actually, it's a quite a funny journey because actually this is not my first experience work in startup. Actually, before before I studied graduate school, I was a CMO in an education startup in Taiwan, which raised the 2 million US dollar in Series A. And I remember when I was the intern in that company, the first the four co-founder they have an interview with me, and they are super specialized at the computer vision and at computer science. Sorry. So the first thought came into my mind is that they are good. They are the top engineer in Taiwan. Why they need me to join their startup? And I think quite interesting because they are all computer science background. So that means if you only have the computer science background, it is difficult to promote your product to your customer or users, because that's the reason they want me to join their startup, because they have the app, but they have the first users, but they can't close the deal and they can acquire the users quickly. They can let more people to aware their company. So the first interview, I just gave them the solution that, hey, you should do that to acquire the user. You should do that to make more users to use your products. So I think that's the first experience to have the startup experience. And this after we hit the market in Taiwan very well, and then I quit my job to study the computer vision in my graduate school. So yeah, and then the how we begin how I start to have the startup startup experience, that we had a program from school to visit the Silicon Valley for a month. We have the grants. So it's a grant for 10,000 US dollar, and you can choose your partner. You can choose your friends to go with you in that program. So, and that experience, uh, you have to make everything by yourself. For example, you have to connect the people or connect the founders in Bay Area, and you have to join the every event like pitch day or the demo day by your connection, because some demo day is private, right? So you have to connect your friends, say, hey, would you bring us to the demo day? So I think that's the funny experience to join that startup. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see. I didn't know that you used to work for the startup as a CMO. Did you have any like a marketing background before you
Yeah.
joined that
Yeah.
company as
Yeah.
a as an
Yeah.
intern?
Yeah. I have a
I
business
see.
background in my university. So
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool. And then what's the name of the education edtech company?
Yeah, it's a Zuvio, Zuvio, and it's an interactive, real-time interactive app for the college student and professor.
Gotcha. I see. Interesting. That's cool. That's cool. And then after you moved to after you left the startup, you were a CMO, and then you got a grant, and then you had a chance to travel to San Francisco, right? And then when and how did you get idea about SHOWHUE?
Yeah, it's a great question because actually, when we joined that program to visit the Bay Area, we didn't have any idea of our product or our startup. We just say, hey, let's go there and see what's the opportunities in the world. And after we came back, it's lucky that we got a grant from government that the government want to build an AI community in Taiwan. So they say, hey, you are selected by us, and we can give you 20,000 US dollar, but you have to start a company. You have to open a company so that you can get that grant. And I think that's very difficult for me to make a choice because I haven't graduated from school at that time, and I haven't had a thesis that time. So that means if I take that grant, I have to start my business and I have to work with my school business together at the same time. So, and I have to build some real things at the same time. So yeah, it's very difficult to choose, but actually the next day I said yes, of course. So that's why I started a company when I was at graduate school. I still was a graduate school student. Yeah. And actually what we do right now is not the first idea when we start a company. We pivot 2 times. So the first project our startup make is kind of a chatbot with the object detection algorithm. But after we trial, and the chatbot is very difficult for us to make what we want. So then we pivot to the AI edge computing system, and we collaborate with the huge corporate in Taiwan. It's kind of, you can recognize the object and you can detect the object on any AI edge device. And when people or some users cross in front of the camera, and we can detect and respond something. Yeah, but actually after the COVID, that project has ended because people won't have the activity in the offline area. So we closed that project and we pivot our product to have the AI tools for the e-commerce. So that's why we pivot. Yeah.
And then how did you choose from you have done twice for people too, right? And then how did you choose especially for e-commerce owners? Why you choose because I remember we met first time was almost 3 years ago, right? In Taiwan, two years and a half. Yeah. And that's we can explain how I met Hannie was. I studied Berkeley, and then my friends went back to Taiwan, and he started to work for the incubation program at the National Taiwan University Science and Technology.
Yeah.
And CU something, right? And then he introduced me, hey Jane, actually one startup I really wanted to introduce you to. So when you're gonna come to Taiwan, let's have coffee. And then I say, yeah, but actually I'm gonna join the conference at church. Maybe if she's gonna be around, you could just make an intro. And then she was there, and that's kind of how we met 2 years and a half. And I remember each time when I talk, you kind of change the idea slightly. So I saw that's interesting. And then basically, last year, kind of like you started to just focus, especially for e-commerce too, right? The fashion.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, how did you decide you're just gonna focus on like e-commerce owners, right? And then like you have done like different type of like object detection, and even like you got the degree for like a computer vision, but thing is why you decided to focus, a specific industry. That's kind of like people actually like working on right now. More like it's just like I finished like ideation, but thing is still like trying to like modify the potential persona, so that could be like useful for today's audience.
Great. So I think many AI startup or many students studying AI, we have the technology, we have the algorithm, we have the model, but it's difficult to choose the topic. We want to apply that algorithm. We want to deploy that algorithm to the problem we want to solve. So actually the first idea before we start to build this product, we actually to deliver and other things for other users, but it's very related to the products we have right now. So it's quite interesting because in 2019, the COVID has not happened, and we support the retailers, the offline retailers, to help the merchants and retailers to sell their products online by using the chatbot. And so the only thing they need to do is send a picture in the chatbot, in the messenger, and our object detection algorithm can help them to dictate the product and help them to tagging the products. So they can easily to shorten their process to selling the products online. But we found a problem that when they upload the pictures, they feel very troublesome because they hate to take the picture of their products because it's a repeat behavior, right? You have to, for example, if you're selling the apparel or shoes, maybe you will have the more than 100 or 200 items in your store. So you have to take the picture more than 100 times to put them on the e-commerce store or the online channel like Instagram or Shopify or even the Facebook fan page. But actually we hire an intern to help them to take a picture. But we think, oh my God, that's ridiculous because AI can do that. But we use the human resource to do that. So after that project ended, we start to discuss the possibility to build this product. So actually, after the discussion, we think that might work, and that we have to conclude every steps. So the first step is we push them to upload the picture, and the first step is we help them to remove the background of the object, and then how to make the pictures more beautiful. So we start to collect the data from the website like Instagram or Facebook or any e-commerce platform. So we use the object detection to dictate the different product category, and we will help them to generate a more beautiful product images for the merchants or our users. So yeah, that's a quite answer.
I didn't know that. Actually, I didn't know that. That's cool. And then when you started to work for the existing customers and more like kind of like extending the solution that you guys can provide too, right? And then did you focus on like a specific type of merchant, for example, like a shoes, dress, like like a female clothes, like a men's clothes? Did you guys just like a hyper focus specific type of like e-commerce owners and merchant, or like you just like work on like different type of like a stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question because I know every AI startup or every you are running an AI project, you have the budget to collect the data set, right? So for example, in the very beginning, our data set is more focused on the fashion. So we have more data, image data from the apparel or fashion related object. But if you want to deliver your product if you want to deliver your algorithm, you will face the problem that there are not, fashion is not the only product category in e-commerce. So others category merchants want to use that product. So you have to decide which category you have to focus in the first time, because collect data is a very cost you take a lot of money. You have to collect the data, you have to deploy the algorithm. So you have to make a choice that which category you have to focus in the first time. And I remember one time I discussed with Jean and say, hey, after the COVID, fashion industry, they have a lot of the decrease of their sales because people won't go out right now. So the fashion category is now not good. So should we expand the category of our algorithm? And I remember the answer is yes. So we start to expand the different category of our data set, but the resource is limited. So we choose some popular category when the COVID hit the market. So for example, we extend the data from the home decoration because people now spend more time at home, right? So we think that e-commerce will selling the home decoration right now. So we start to collect the data from home decoration or the in-house training, sporty things like yoga mat or yoga things. So I think that every AI startup will face the same problem. Yeah. To prioritize.
I remember like that conversation. Yeah. I remember that we discussed. And then actually, it's kind of like the next question. That's like a good segue for the next question. And then when you chose like a specific category of merchandise, right? At the beginning, I don't think you did have enough training data to be able to build very high accuracy model, right? Usually, how did you collect data then? Or like how probably like right now you're like getting the more like a training data from users or like working with like a big corporate. But thing is like back then was still kind of like early for you guys. And then how did you collect the training data to build a model?
Yeah, good question. Actually, I think we are lucky because the data we can just collect from the website, like Instagram or any social media or any e-commerce platform. Just we can use the algorithm to parse the data from the website. But if you are an AI startup running kind of a medical topic or kind of the autopilot project, that's very difficult to collect the data. Yeah, so I think sometimes if you have to make a choice which category or which industry your AI startup want to deploy. How the difficulty to collecting the data is kind of you have to consider about that. So actually we made a system to automatically to collect the data from any website. It's kind of a DDoS, but it's an engineering. Actually, we collect the data from the social media automatically. So yeah, we can still to have the data. And actually, there are many data set is open as a open source online, so people can easily to access the data set. Yeah, right now, compared to the many years ago. Yeah.
I see. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then next question is like a slightly related to like a different topic. And then I remember from the highlight of your setup is that you joined the 500 startups program in Singapore, right? That's like an APEC, some kind of like a program, right? A global.
It's a Taiwan. It's a Taiwan program.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so how was the experience? And then what would you suggest to startup founders or like a potential entrepreneur, actually like today's audience as well, to spend the program and then maximize outcome by the end of the program? So at this moment, this program is 11 weeks in total. This is the week 5, or actually week 6 already. Week 5, yeah. It's a week 5. So it's kind of like a middle right now. And we just had midterm pitch last week. And then they're like 4 companies. And then they do have the 5 weeks left. And then the end of the program, they do have a demo day for the investors. So what would you suggest for them to maximize the outcome?
Yeah, great. So I think before you start to apply any program, you have to realize what kind of a resource you want to take from that program when you after maybe 4 weeks or 6 weeks, because every program have a different expertise, kind of a different mentor pools, different course or the different resource. So you have to understand before you apply the program. So actually, SHOWHUE, we experienced a different program in Taiwan. So example, in the very beginning, we start from the incubator in our university. And then after the incubator, we joined the NTU accelerator. And that accelerator focused on collaborating with the huge corporate in Taiwan. So the resource we want at that time is we want to collaborate. We want to have the POC of that corporate to testify, to verify our idea or our solution or our algorithm. So after the NTU program, we joined the AppWorks and the 500 at the same time. And it's very clear because before we joined the 500 and AppWorks, we already have our product and we already kind of the concept market fit or a little product market fit because we have the users more than, I remember before we joined the program, we already have the 100 users on our dashboard. So we know what we want. We know the resource we want to collect from the program is the investor and the mentors. So that's why that's the reason we joined the program. And the 500, for example, 500 have the great community. They call the 500 strong, right? So I know Jean is one of the mentors. So every time you can talk to the mentors and every time you can, I think the lesson I learned from 500 is about the culture, because every AI startup wants to expand your market to the US market or the Southeast Asia market. But the US market is very different because you have if you don't have any connection or resource in the US market, how to start to acquire the users from the US market. So one time I talked to Jennifer, the program lead, and she told me that if you want to expand the market to the US market, maybe you can start from the mentor pool, because you can just pitch your idea or pitch your product to the mentors and see how they suggest you. So maybe you can after the meeting, you can say, hey, could you help me to connect the corporate or the platform you want to work with? So I think the connection, how to connect with people, even the startup founders or the mentors or the investors, I think that's the lesson I learned from the 500 program. Yeah.
Gotcha. I see. And then I guess you don't need to join any of the programs anymore. You just want to grow your business at this moment. After you raise money, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a few more questions, and I'm just gonna open up to the question to audience. And then what do you wish you knew at the beginning of your career that you know as a founder right now? When you started your startup, probably you didn't know, probably you do have like a probably limited experience and knowledge, and then you have done probably past 3 years, I guess, 3.5, almost like 3 years.
Yeah.
And probably you have gained a lot of experience too, right? So what do you wish you knew back then as you do know right now?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is, as a founder, I think it's the communication, because and startup, you have to communicate with very different type of people. For example, you have to hire someone, you have to convince the co-founder to give up the big opportunities to choose your startup. So you have to communicate with the co-founder, you have to communicate with the investor to trust what you are doing right now. And you have to communicate with your users to know what they want, what the problems they have. So I think the communication is very important, because if you don't have the communication skill, you will screw up everything in the startup. So I think communication is the most important thing if you want to start a business.
And how did you convince your CTO to join SHOWHUE?
Yeah, I think actually that's quite interesting, because we start to join the competition together at the first time. So actually, the first time we worked together, we don't have the company at that time. So after the competition, actually we lose. And after that, I told them, hey, also we lose the competition, but you want to join us together to build something really cool? And he said, yes, of course. So yeah, that's easy, but it's very difficult to start the conversation. So yeah, I think, yeah.
I see. Actually, that's similar to my previous startup too. Like how I met CTO is intro from my founder friends. The thing is, like, after we met first time, we joined the hackathon together, and then we worked basically like, all day, and then see how we can kind of complement each other, because I'm not like a tech guy. I'm like, just like hustling for the sales and marketing and design. He's like a real tech guy. And then we have like worked on like one project, and we noticed that it's actually like, it's a quite different type of like a skill set. The things like the things we really want to try is quite similar. So that's like basically like I asked him like, hey, I'm planning to like set up a new entity, and this is a project that's like we built, but this is kind of like a new project that's we wanted to run as a startup. If he wanted to join, that could be great. You can move to Silicon Valley, because he was a Japanese guy, so he decided to join our startup too. So that was a very, very interesting experience actually. Even I remember because like back then we are building a restaurant suggestion, and then I brought one of my favorite restaurant in Tokyo, and I say, did you know this place? And then he said no, and then he likes food. I think this is actually one of the top Italian restaurants, and then it's not that expensive. And how I knew this place is my friend's recommendation, and then I wanted to share this type of like the real experience, because people like financially happy and people really experience like Italian culture in Tokyo. I wanted to spread like this type of experience by building an app. And he said, I actually really liked this Italian restaurant. And then owner is like from south of Italy. He was very funny, nice guy. I still like talk to him. And then he said, I liked your vision. So like, let's build something like a scalable, and then we can spread the real the restaurant more like culture and the experience to everyone. That's kind of like we started to like work on the previous service there.
Cool.
My last question, and it's just gonna open up to everyone. So like at this moment, you're working with like a bunch of the e-commerce, even like enterprise companies, and then everybody just have their own online shoppings, right? And then everything like shifted from offline to online, and then there is no any like a specific like an answer, and there's no any. I'm just like curious. What do you think about like the future of e-commerce, and what do you think about like future of like online experience and shopping? Anything you can like share with us, that could be like a great.
Yeah, awesome. So actually before I joined the first startup, I built up my first e-commerce website when I was a university student. And that's the 7 years ago. And I think it's weird because 7 years ago, it's very hard to have an online store. But right now, it's only a couple of minutes you can set up the online store, right? It's easy, super easy to have an online store right now. But 7 years ago, it's very difficult for me to taking a photo of our product. And right now, after 7 years, that's still very difficult to shooting the pictures of our product. So the point is the visual things of the e-commerce is very important. And everyone is shift their offline store to the online store. That means the e-commerce industry is very competitive right now. So everyone is selling things online on Shopify, on Shopee, on WooCommerce, on Amazon. So how to make your stores standing out? So everything is related to how to improve your store experience, how to improve your store visual. So that's why we are going to build the visual tools for the e-commerce. And it is reported that the visual is the very important factor that customer to buy your product. So I think that chance it's inevitable, and people are still looking for some tools to help them to create kind of a stunning visual things for their store. So yeah, I hope that SHOWHUE can make a milestone in this chance.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you think? Sorry, just a second. Like one last question. Do you think that people are just going to use like a VR or AR to buy some stuff through like a virtual store, even kind of like next level? It's not like
Yeah.
It's kind of like virtually they can like they have like a headset, they can see the stuff, even like they can like virtually wear shoes and stuff. Do you think people are just gonna buy it?
Yeah, I think every product is related to the cost, because the AR or VR things, they are very expensive. I was involved in the project with the AR VR when I was the graduate school student. So I know that spend a lot of money. So for example, some merchants, they want to use the AR VR to present their products. Maybe one picture costs them maybe 100 or 200 US dollars. But the product only sell, for example, $20 or $30. So that didn't make sense, right? So everything is related to the cost, the technology or the algorithm cost. So I think AR VR is the future, but right now, if the cost cannot be reduced, and the AR VR tools maybe 5 years later, if the cost can be reduced. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's still it's not. It doesn't answer like why now. In that case,
yeah,
more like a technology adaptation for like the
exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Let's open up the question to audience. Reason, Johannes, Quora, Taiho, Asma. Yeah, Taiho. Let's take a Taiho's question first, and let's take Reason's question next. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Hi. Thank you so much for the Fireside chat today. So my question is, I'm pretty sure that there's many tags, many types of things you want to put for each picture. Did one model, all the tags like red, I don't know, sneakers, all of them in like a one single model, did that have a good accuracy for you and the company?
Yeah, that's a great question, Taiho. So actually the question is about the training model of the kind of an angle of the photo, right? So actually that's a problem we face right now, because our algorithm now only support the flat angle. That means the tap up the angle, because it related to the dimension problem. So for example, if your product is just like a book or like this one, you can just put on the desk. So we can help you to generate the flat angle of the picture. But if this book is stands on the desk, that means we have to generate the 3-dimension of the picture. And that's the different level of the algorithm. And that's how we work right now, because we want to improve the output image from 2-dimension to 3-dimension. So yeah, that's a great question. We have to collect. So in the development process, we only collect the data from the flat angle instead of the 3-dimension angle. For example, something stand on the desk or on the flat something. So yeah, a great question, Taeho.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, go ahead, Rhythm.
Yeah, firstly, thank you for the sharing your story. It was really nice hearing your story. And I also had a similar kind of follow-up question. So when you talked about that there's a problem that you have to repeatedly click pictures when you have 100 items, and you said that can be replaced by AI. I think I want to know more, what did you mean by that? How can you avoid that? Because what I think is if you have 100 products, you still need to do repetitive tasks.
Yeah, got it. So thank you, Rhythm. And so the question is about how the algorithm works, right? Just how AI learn the patterns of the photo. So actually, in our algorithm pipeline, we start to collect the data from it's kind of a photograph instead of a banner, because a lot of people think that is a banner, but actually we collect the data kind of a photograph, and we will using some vision detection algorithm first. For example, we have to categorize the different photographs. So we will using the kind of a vision model to dictate the product in the different photographs, and we will label the data. So for example, there may be more than 5,000 images from the home decoration labels, and maybe more than 10,000 labels focused on the fashion or apparel. So after we separate a different category, we will start to learn the deeper information of the photograph. For example, we will learn the main object is home decoration, kind of the home decoration object, but something around the object, what kind of the things around the object. For example, maybe there flower, maybe there are the different props in that photograph. So we're using that to label the every information in that photograph. Then we will start to collect the data from the background and the props, so that our algorithm can recommend the position and the how to work, how backgrounds and props work to generate the scenario of the product for the products. So that's kind of the how AI algorithm, how our AI pipeline work. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Go ahead, Kara.
Oh, thank you, Hannie, for your fireside chat. My question is regarding your targeted audience. I understood that you're targeting offline stores, offline stores, and you're trying to make this bridge connection to the internet, to e-commerce. And from your fireside chat, I'm getting this hunch that to take one photo and then actually analyzing it and then to put it on to get it on the internet, it's a bit of a process. From that, are you what kind of I guess offline stores are you targeting? Are you targeting like high-end stores? Because I'm assuming then if you're targeting a high-end store, per one photo you might get a higher profit margin just because the price is higher for for a single product, the price is higher for high-end stores?
Yeah, great question, Kota. So I think the question is more about the persona or the use case, what kind of the audience or the target customer we want to focus, right? So actually we have the two different persona of our users. The one is the small merchants. That means they don't have any pictures of their products. So in this time, they just want to make some ugly pictures or some snapshot into some maybe score 60 score, not 100% perfect, but 60%, 60% is enough for them to sell that product, to present their product on the online storefront. But actually we have another persona is kind of the enterprise users. So enterprise users, they already have a small studio in their company. So they have the professional photographer, but they only have the white background or the simple background of that product. That means they want to make their product pictures from 60% to the 100% or nearly the perfect scenario. So for example, why they want to make their pictures more beautiful, because they have to do something kind of a marketing. For example, they have to send the email marketing, right? They have to send the pictures on their social media, Instagram or Facebook. So why they use our product? Because they want to save their time to generate the thousands of the pictures of their products. And that's the recurring works they have to do. And most of their works are doing by their marketing team. But for enterprise users, they only have 2 or 3 people in their marketing team. So this kind of tools can help them to save the time. The marketing team want to spend many time to think what kind of a scenario, what kind of the props, what kind of the background I have to use the Photoshop to finish. So I think that's the different persona in our use case.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great question.
Any other questions? Actually, do you have any like a product demo that you can show to everyone quickly?
Yeah, I think maybe I can show you guys about
yeah, that could be actually like a great. It doesn't take like that much time to prepare.
Yeah. Just wait for 1 minute. I start the browser and just let you guys to see.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to show you guys about how we help the food restaurant to make their pictures more beautiful. So because in Taiwan right now, the food restaurant is impacted by COVID right now heavily. So that's why we help them to. Okay, so can you guys see the screen right now?
Yep.
Yeah, so actually you can see the picture before. That's the real food craft by someone. And the right side is kind of a pictures from the Uber or the Food Panda, the food delivery platform. So how it works, the only thing they need to do is just upload 1 pictures here, and it's easy to click the create button, and then we will generate a different scenario automatically. So from now you can see this is a small scenario here, but we will recommend the 3 different scenarios for that product right now. So you can choose the different scenario. And when you choose the scenario, everything, every props, every backgrounds will generate automatically in seconds. And after we generate, you can still adjust the size and the position of the picture, because AI is very convenient, but that doesn't mean you have to follow all rules from the AI recommendation. So we have the flexibility for our users. Our users can adjust everything after our recommendation, after the AI recommendation. So, and that's easy. And we also recommend the props from AI. So every props is collected from the website, and the suggestion you can, if you don't like it, you can delete the props. And we also have the lightning AI algorithm. So the lightning is the learn by AI. So how to make the products more lighter. So if you just turn on the lightning AI, and we will, the AI algorithm will help you to light your product, your object. And that's it. And you can save and download that picture. And we also integrate with the Shopee, Shopify, and WooCommerce platform. So you can easily to sync these pictures on your Shopee store or Shopify stores or WooCommerce stores. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And then how do you charge right now again? Is it
for
per picture or like a subscription?
It's a subscription, depends on the credits. That means we have the 30 credits per month for $29. So you can upload 29, you can upload 30 photos, and we can create the unlimited scenario for you, but it costs the $29 per month.
And then existing tools and service could be hiring professional photographer, and then designer or anyone can basically edit by using Photoshop or Illustrator to make it nicer after they take a picture. Is that the kind of like existing tools? Or like they just take a picture randomly and just like post it? I think its quality is quite low.
Yeah, actually we got a amazing feedback from our enterprise users that they want to use our tools instead of Photoshop. I think that's a great milestone, because we don't want to replace Photoshop, because I think our tools, it's kind of we help them to save the time to generate the pictures, but we don't want to replace the Photoshop. But actually our users are using our tools to replace the Photoshop. I think that's a great milestone. Yeah.
Because like, it's easy to edit, and it's like a faster to edit.
Yeah, it's very easy to edit. Yeah.
Interesting. Also, I assume like it depends on the size of the company. Probably did you know how like hire to like somebody who's just gonna edit picture too, right? And then or like to be able to like edit picture, like they just need to have skills or experience that's like they know how to use Photoshop, right? So probably some point you need to like you just need to like make sure like what type of like the size of the companies, like what they are using right now, who are like doing like this type of stuff.
Yeah.
It could be like a replacement, or it could be like empowering existing people at a specific company and department. I see. That's cool. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing this. Let's take one more question if anyone has a question, and then we can wrap up this session. Ich, Johannes, and Asma, you guys have a question? Or like, for a resume type, you guys can ask a question too, again. All right. Count on first.
I only have a comment. It's like, for me, your product, it seems like you're almost providing a studio and a software that could help edit their photo and make it more appealing to the users.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. In that case, let's take a group picture, and then we can wrap up this session. All right. If you guys can turn on the camera, that'd be great. And thank you so much for your time, Hannie, today. All right. All right. Cool. 3, 2, 1. Cheers. Awesome. Cool.
Awesome.
In that case, yeah, I'm gonna send it to the her LinkedIn. What's the best way that people can reach out to you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is perfect.
LinkedIn. Okay. So in that case, I'm gonna send it to the LinkedIn URL. Also, link for the SHOWHUE too, and you guys can check it too. Cool. In that case, we can wrap up this session. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
See you guys
Thank you.
on
Bye-bye.
Slack. Bye.